As a public defender, Judge Karen fought for her client's rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. Sometimes life pulls you from up here to down here to teach you a lesson. And you're in a valley right now. And there are lessons in this valley. I hope you learn from them.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Emily Comrie is suing her sister, Darla Trustin, in the amount of $3,000. Ms. Comrie claims her sister agreed to give her a monthly stipend when she became their mother's caregiver, but says she hasn't been paid in months. Ms. Trustin says their mother was injured while in her sister's care and claims the house was an absolute mess when she went to check on her mother.
Ms. Comrie, you are suing your sister, Ms. Trustin, for $3,000 for a breach of contract. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So I understand from your pleadings that you had an agreement that you would be taking care of your mother and you were going to be paying her $1,000 a month, a week?
Absolutely. A month.
A month stipend. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, so tell me what happened.
Okay, so me and my sister made an agreement that I would be paid $1,000 for caring for our mother.
Okay. What was wrong with Mom?
She had a stroke 5 years ago.
Okay. Is she okay now?
She's okay now.
Okay. And how old is Mom?
Mom is 85.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Mom had a stroke 5 years ago. She was living by herself?
Yes.
At the time?
At the time,
Okay,
yes.
what were you doing at the time?
Well, I was living in my own apartment. I'm a freelance illustrator.
Okay, you do drawings?
Yes, art,
Okay.
yes.
And what do you do, ma'am?
I'm a doctor.
Oh, you're a doctor,
Yes.
okay. So you could afford to pay your sister to help take care of Mom?
Well, absolutely. My mother is ill. My mother feels more comfortable with my sister, so that's what I did.
So tell me what it was like taking care of Mom then.
Taking care of Mom is quite a task. I take her to all her appointments, her physical therapy, her occupational therapy,
Making
her
sure
neurologist.
she takes all those pills in the morning,
make sure she takes her
checking her insulin.
Yes.
Did she have breakfast? I take care of mine, so I know.
Yes. I also take her to a swallow therapist.
She has a problem swallowing?
Yeah, because of the stroke.
Oh, because of the stroke.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
And what do you do?
Well,
for Mom?
For Mom, I take care of all the bills. I mean, I am a surgeon, and our family, we grew up poor, so I've kind of been the breadwinner, and I try to take care of everybody. So that's basically what I do. I make sure that my sister's taken care of because she's taking care of my mother.
Right.
And
do you have children?
I do. I have 3 kids.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
No, I don't have any kids.
Okay. So it seemed like she was in the best situation then.
She's best to take care of my mom.
And Mom feels more comfortable with her.
She feels more comfortable with my sister. Absolutely.
Okay. So this was going on for how long, this arrangement?
This has been going on for 5 years up until 3 months ago.
Okay.
Right.
And no problems in the 5 years? You were paying her on a monthly basis. She's taking care of Mom. No issues. Does Mom get better?
Yes, she does get better.
Okay. So, in what ways do Mom get better?
She started functioning normal like she was before in the beginning, before the stroke. Also, I felt really good with her progress. She came a long way from that, and she was functioning.
She's ambulatory. She could walk.
She could walk around.
Was she able to walk on her own after the stroke?
Yes.
Okay, so she never needed help getting around in that way.
No, not at all.
Okay. So then, what happened? How did stuff break down?
I think
relations.
The biggest issue happened 5 years ago when my mother had a stroke. She felt more comfortable with my sister, so we made an agreement. And there's a little bit of history to this that you really don't know about. My sister has had problems with drugs. She has been sober for 8 years, and I'm pretty sure she's sober now.
Well, why would you bring that up if she's been sober for 8 years?
Okay,
why
so
would
she
you
always
bring that up
berates
now?
people.
Why would you bring it up now?
Well, that's kind of important because 4 months ago, my mother fell and she was in the hospital.
Right.
And I couldn't reach my sister. She did call me to let me know that my mother was in the hospital.
Okay.
and I was bringing something to the hospital for my mother, so I had to stop by the house, and the house was a mess. We made an agreement.
Right.
Her agreement was to take care of my mother.
Right.
Her agreement is to make sure the house is clean.
Right. But wait. But in 5 years, didn't you go over to the house?
Of course, Your Honor. Of course.
Okay, how many times did you go visit Mom in those 5 years that your sister was taking care of her?
Okay, I go over when I
How
can.
many times did you go see Mom on a monthly basis during the 5 years, 12 months times 5
I visit
years?
about 3 times.
11.
3 times
11
a month.
total times?
11 total
Okay,
times.
but Your Honor,
Is that true that you went over 11 times in 5 years?
Okay, first of all, who counts?
It
Okay,
does.
Are you counting?
I don't answer questions, I ask them.
Coming up on Supreme Justice,
So you're just going by what she said, and you believe that?
No, I'm going by what you said.
Okay.
You said I went to see my mother
Right.
3 times a month
Absolutely.
over the last 5
I'm busy.
years.
I run a practice. I have 3 kids. I have a practice. You know, in order to
Okay,
keep my mother.
you need to stop.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Emily Comrie, who is suing her sister Darla Trustin for breach of contract.
Is it true that in the last 5 years you went over to Mom about 11 times?
That's not true. That's
Okay.
not true.
You're saying
Come
you
on,
went
that's
over
not
how
true.
often?
I go over maybe 3 times a month, but most importantly, I talk to my mother.
Right.
And I also, we're in contact.
My point is, you talk about 4 months ago when you stopped by and the house is a
Right.
mess. If you've been by 3
Right.
times a
Right.
month
Right.
for 5 years, the house must have been okay.
Okay, but I go by there and I know how she keeps the house. My mother, I've lived in that house, so that house is immaculate.
No.
She keeps
5
it
years,
clean.
ma'am, stay with me, doctor.
Okay,
5 years,
Right.
3 times a month.
so you're just going by what she said, and you believe that?
No, I'm going by what you said.
Okay.
You said I went to see my mother
Right.
3 times a month
Absolutely.
over the last 5
I'm busy.
years.
I run a practice. I have 3 kids. I have a practice. You know, in order to
Okay,
keep my mother.
you need to stop.
Yes.
My question to you, 3 times a month, how many times is that a year? 36 times? Times 5.
But who's counting?
I am.
Okay. You're the judge.
And I am.
Okay.
In all those times when you went over to see
Right.
Mom, was the house in disarray?
The house was not in disarray, but I would
Okay,
like
but
to give you a little background.
but what you testified to though was that 4 months ago, when you went to the house, all of a sudden now the house was just a mess.
Okay, first of all, the house smelled of urine, Your Honor.
Okay, this one time when you went over.
Thank you. The dishes were dirty.
Right.
There's clothes all over the floor.
Okay.
Okay, so we made an agreement, Your Honor, 5 years ago, and that agreement is I would pay her a stipend if she made sure that the house was clean, my mother was taken care of, and most importantly, that she was off drugs. Now, honestly, when you see a house looking like that and I can't reach her, you know, what am I supposed to think?
So she's telling me all of a sudden now, after 5 years, the house is a mess. Smells like urine. Things are thrown around. Is that true? 4
Your
months
Honor,
ago?
that is not true. That's not true. My sister lived 20 minutes away. She visited 11 times.
Okay, I'm not gonna go back and forth with
Thank
how
you,
many
thank
times.
you,
but
thank you, thank you.
According to her, she went over there over 100 times.
Okay.
And in those 100 times, she never saw the house like that.
No,
So
no.
my question then is, was the house like that this time 4 months ago?
Yeah, and
Thank
Your
you.
Honor,
Thank
I'm
you.
tired.
Thank
I
you.
take care of my mother
I'm tired too.
24/7.
Don't
I
interrupt.
cook,
Yes, ma'am.
I clean, I make sure she gets to her appointments, and my mother is our mother is my number 1 priority.
Okay,
so
she's mine too.
Are
taking
you
care of
saying,
mine too.
ma'am, please don't interrupt. Are you saying that it was getting too much for you to handle, or you felt overwhelmed?
I would say I felt a little overwhelmed. Yes.
Okay,
Your
so-
Honor,
yes.
I do have pictures.
Let me
I
see
did-
the pictures.
Thank you. I did take pictures, and just as to give you an example on how, would you want your mother being kept like that?
I don't answer questions, I ask them.
Okay.
But all the times you say you've been there, that's just one time.
Okay,
though.
So this is like the mess. This is 3 different rooms. One is a laundry room.
Thank you. My mother should not be living like that. I'm paying her. Not only am I not
Okay,
not only am I
and
paying her a stipend,
the-
I'm also paying the
I
mortgage.
just want to understand the pictures. The other picture is just a living room where I see something that looks like a blanket.
Okay.
Right.
That's a mess.
I see a garbage can that has a liner in it.
Okay.
3 cups, a bottle of water on the table, and it looks like a sweater or something. And then I guess this is the kitchen, and I see a bottle of orange juice, a loaf of bread that's closed, a bag of chips, something else, can't tell, looks like an old yogurt container, and
Nobody
maybe a
wants their
bottle
mother
of
to live like
medication.
that.
So
Nobody wants
this is this horrendous mess that you found when you went to Mama's house?
It's a mess to me. Yes, it's a mess. That's not what I was paying
One
for.
time, Your Honor, it's really, it can be overwhelming taking care of my mom.
I know. I take care of my mother. It is very overwhelming. And a lot of times your siblings don't have any sympathy or understanding what it takes to take care of an elderly
That's not true.
and aging mother. Are you taking care of her?
I'm not. I am taking care of her. If I'm helping
Wait,
pay
don't
the bills,
argue with me. Okay, don't tell me about how I'm spending the money. I'm spending the money because I spend the money too, and I take care of my mother. Okay?
Okay.
Both. So don't tell me that. You walk in and you see this.
Right.
You take pictures, and then what?
I did.
And then what?
And then I brought it to her attention.
No, what happened when we got to the hospital to see why was Mom rushed to the hospital? You remember? You stopped there?
Yes.
You couldn't reach her?
Right.
Mom was in the hospital? What happened?
She did explain that my mother had fallen.
Okay.
Right.
All right. How did Mom fall?
Okay, so Mom was in the living room watching her favorite show, having her lunch, and the doorbell rang. And I told Mom to stay put while I answered the door. So I see who was at the door, and it was a realtor, so I shooed them away, and I heard a crash in that process.
Okay,
and
that's
I
my
went
mother.
back to
That's my
see,
mother.
and it was my mom getting up to try to go to the bathroom on her own, and that's how she fell.
I see.
Coming up,
You no longer wanted to pay for your sister to take care of Mom.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what did we do about it
Okay,
then?
I hired-
Did you bring Mom into your house then?
No, I didn't.
What did
she
you
has
do?
her own house, but
Right.
I did hire a caregiver, which
Without
the
my
caregiver,
knowledge.
Right.
the
So
care-
is there a caregiver now taking care of
no,
Mom?
because she wouldn't let her in.
My mom.
Emily wouldn't let her in. Emily would not let her in.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Emily Comrie, who is suing her sister Darla Trustin for breach of contract.
So then you felt that because of the fall and
Right.
because of this mess
Right.
that you found in the house,
Right.
that you no longer wanted to pay for your sister to take care of Mom.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what did we do about it
Okay,
then?
I hired-
Did you bring Mom into your house then?
No, I didn't.
What
'cause
did
she
you
has
do?
her own house, but
Right.
I did hire a caregiver, which
Without
the
my
caregiver.
knowledge.
Right.
The
So
care-
is there a caregiver now taking care
no,
of Mom?
because she wouldn't let her in.
My mom.
Emily wouldn't let her in. Emily would not let her in.
Our mother doesn't want anyone else taking care of her but me.
Right.
Because she feels that, having someone else come in and do her hygiene, she
Bathe her.
and bathe her, she wouldn't
Put her
like
clothes
that.
on her.
Right.
She doesn't like that.
Right. Yeah.
She only wants
Okay,
me.
but not only that, I hired a maid service to go in there and help out. I know it's.
Right.
But she didn't tell me.
I'm not the bad person,
Right.
Your Honor.
Right.
I mean, it may look just because I'm giving money that I'm the bad person.
Right.
But I work hard, and I do care that I care about my mother too.
Right. Were you
It's
there?
not just her
Were
because
you
she's
there?
giving the time.
Did you go over and talk to Mom and sit with Mom while you sent over caregivers for her to interview?
I taled to my mom, and
No,
I
no,
do
were
go
you
see her.
there in
no,
the
I
house?
Was, no, I was not. No.
Who
I
was
wasn't.
there when the caregivers were supposed to be interviewed?
Emily
Your
was.
sister.
Yes.
Yes.
And she
Okay.
gave him my phone number and to set up appointments.
So you had your sister interviewing the caregiver that was
I
going to...
interviewed the caregiver. I sent the caregiver over there. She said that Emily would not allow her in.
Coming up,
Who was taking care of Mom for the 3 months that you didn't pay your sister? Who was taking care of Mom?
She is.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Emily Comrie, who is suing her sister Darla Trustin for breach of contract.
I'm not saying that you're not taking care of Mom, and I do appreciate the work that you do, but at the same time, you do have a history of drugs, and if I don't know where the money is going through. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't pay for food. I pay for all that. The $1,000 that you get is just money for you to spend. So
Your
if you
Honor.
can't do the job, I can bring somebody in there that can.
Your Honor, I have documentation stating what I do with the money and how it's spent.
You mean $1,000?
Yes.
You don't have to give anybody the documentation what you do with money that you're being paid.
I didn't ask for one. I didn't ask for one.
All right, so who's taking care of Mom?
I take care of Mom.
She is right now.
Okay, so what are we going to do about that?
Well,
Because you don't want her to take care of Mom. So what
No.
are we going to do about it?
okay, here's the whole thing. I want my mother to be happy, and if she feels comfortable with Emily, I want Emily to do the job.
So why are we here in court?
Because she decided that I didn't pay her for 3 months. And the 3 months, I didn't think at that time when
Who
I...
was taking care of Mom for the 3 months that you didn't pay your sister? Who was taking care of Mom?
She is.
You told her you would pay her to
My
take
sister
care
has
of
a
your
history of
mother.
drug problems. You think I would give her money?
Okay, you
when-
just said, don't tell me about the drug problems when you just said right now that I feel more comfortable because Mom feels comfortable with my sister taking care of
Okay, but
Mom.
my mother's
you
taking care
cannot
of.
have your cake and eat it too.
Okay.
Now, take some time.
Yes, ma'am.
Take some time out for your busy practice and spend a week just you there with Mom. Coming in every day. You go somewhere on vacation and interview caregivers until you find a caregiver that you feel comfortable with. So, you know, until you're in the shoes of the caregiver,
Right.
it's real easy to sit back and write a check.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
Now, are you going to do that?
Yes,
or
I can.
Are we agreeing right here in open court that Emily goes back to taking care of Mom and you give Emily $1,000 a month?
I can do that, and I do appreciate what my sister does, Your Honor.
Well, then you need to thank her because it is no easy job taking care of an elderly person. Why don't you thank her?
Thank you. I just want my mother to be in the best care, and I want you to be okay too.
She is. Our mother
I have a lot of
in the
pressure
best
on
care.
me too.
And this is for everyone who take care of their parents, grandparents. It's a job, but I do it because I love our mother, and I do it because of the compassion that I have to do it. So this is for caregivers all over. We go through a lot. Taking care of our elderly family
And
members.
I do appreciate that.
A lot.
I appreciate
it's
all the
not
work
an
you
easy
put in.
task.
I know it's
not at
People
all.
who can just write a check think it's easy.
No, it's not easy
It's
at
a
all.
lot
And
more
it's
than
not
that.
easy to write a check all the
All
time.
right, so we agree. It's an agreement that you're going to continue. You owe her $3,000, and you're going to continue paying her $1,000 a month.
Yes.
To take care of Mom.
Okay.
Right, and can we hug?
Yes. I love you, darling.
All right, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. Good luck to you.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $3,000.
I'm glad the judge made you see how hard it is being a caregiver.
Okay, and I'm happy the judge's decision brought us closer together.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.